Welcome back, guys. Come here. I got a cool deck to show you. Mono Blue. Don't leave. Don't leave. Mono Blue in Commander has a very interesting rep, okay? You got one of three things in people's minds when someone sits down across from them with a Mono Blue list. One, this dude's gonna control the shit out of me. Or two, this dude's gonna be running Merfolk Tribal. Or three, this dude's gonna be doing some weird Mono Blue gimmicky thing like Thrix. Not sorry. Born to Wizard, forced to Police Officer. At least I'm trying, dude. You want to add something funny that's not just about my weight or something like that? Hey, I just wanted to let the people know this was a bracket 2 deck. That was... And maybe let them know that it comes in at $60. That was actually useful, thank you. The same price as your fat-ass Taco Bell order. Hey, and there it is. But yeah, if you're running Mono Blue, people are going to make assumptions, and those assumptions are kind of warranted because a lot of blue cards control the game, so it's kind of easy to think blue, think counterspell. The opponent left 2 blue mana open. What a funny short I could make. When your opponent leaves 2 mana open, or the counterspell. I don't know how many times that counterspell joke is going to be made by Magic players and still be found funny by Magic players. It's old news, boys. But anyway, we're back and better than ever. That means 15 pounds heavier and dyed hair. Maybe I can officially become a member of the Magic community now. Boom roasted. Boom roasted. Got your ass. So before we get into the deck, I want to specify what this channel is going to be kind of moving towards from now on. We're going to be doing a lot more decks on the channel. Full videos focused around single decks so we can more in-depth look at them. Look at how they work, what their whole strategy is, do some goldfishing, maybe some potential upgrades, stuff like that, so we can really get a look at the ins and outs of these builds. The second thing I want these videos to include is an approach to my biases that I have in the game, okay? Because one of my biases is I don't like monocolored decks. Another one is I hate mono blue because it's all just control. So this video is made to squash those two biases by proving mono blue doesn't have to be control and a mono deck can be fun by showing you my Riku Resourceful Guardian mono blue, wait for it, aggro deck. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into this bad boy. So let's obviously start things off with Riku. For 2 and a blue, we get a 2/3. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a creature, that creature cannot be blocked by creatures your opponents control until end of turn, and you can also pay 1 and tap her to move a counter from target creature an opponent controls onto a creature we control, so we can steal their counters. Whenever our stuff gets counters, it becomes unblockable. I think that's very, very good for a mono blue aggro deck. So let's jump into this, starting things off with the card draw. Now, I want to start with the card draw because we got a couple place fillers here. Curious Obsession and Curiosity are placeholders for Biden of Thassa and Starwinder, both of which turn all combat damage our creatures do to opponents into card draw, so obviously going to be better than these. These are just placeholders. So the deck runs a little package of looters because throwing 1/1 counters on unblockable looters are probably going to be good because we won't have to keep throwing counters on them. They can just be unblockable damage dealers. So Shoreline Looter, unblockable, loots us when it does combat damage. Piper Right, you know I will. 1 and a blue for a 1/2. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, investigate that many times, and whenever we sacrifice a clue, put a 1/1 counter on target creature we control. So that's going to be great with our commander, making our creatures unblockable, giving us card draw. Piper Right, one of the best cards in the deck for sure. Marchesa's Infiltrator, dethroned, so as long as it's swinging at the person with the most life, it'll get a 1/1 counter when it attacks, so the 1/1 counter will happen before Riku's ability, so Riku will give it unblockable before the opponent ever gets a chance to block, and whenever it deals combat damage, we draw a card. So great little piece of card draw there. Looter Ilkor, just a creature with shadow that loots us when it deals combat damage. Can't go wrong. Orisa Tide Choreographer is one that I really like. 4 and a blue, 2/2. This spell costs 3 less to cast if creatures you control have total toughness of 10 or greater, which in a 1/1 counter deck is pretty often. And when it enters, we draw 2 cards. So this could potentially be a 2-drop, 2/2 that we could start throwing counters on that draws us 2 on ETB. I just think that's pretty decent. How about Owaka? Yeah, remove counters, draw cards. Sure. Goldberry, remove counters, draw cards. Sure. Pensive Professor, gets counters, draw cards. Sure. Tawashi Guidebot, a 4-drop 2/1 that will put a 1/1 counter on something, so make something unblockable in this deck, and it also can draw us a card for 4 and tapping, but it costs 1 less for each modified creature we control, so if we have enough creatures with 1/1 counters on them, this thing can just be a pretty good card draw engine. Speaking of pretty good card draw engine, Flitterwing Nuisance. 1 blue, 2/2 flying. This creature enters with a -1/-1 counter on it. Pay 2 and a blue, remove a counter, so it doesn't have to be a -1/-1. We can start removing +1/+1s if need be. Until end of turn, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, we draw a card. So there's another one of those effects. Similar idea with Lockmare, enters with 3 -1/-1 counters. You can pay 1 in a blue to remove a counter from this creature to draw a card, and you can pay 2 in a blue to remove 2 counters, tap something, put a stun counter on it. So pseudo removal, card draw, all for putting counters on stuff. I think that fits the deck very well. Spirit Water Reversal is just a 3-mana draw 2, but it also will draw you 7 and give you no maximum hand size if you pay the Waterbending 6, and this is a creature-heavy deck. Paying the Waterbending 6, it won't be that difficult. Fortune Teller's Talent is a great one in here. At level 1, you may look at the top card. At level 2, you may cast the top card as long as you've cast a spell this turn, and with all of our low CMC spells, that's really easy to do. And spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 2 less at level 3, so we can start spamming stuff off the top. Just a really good card draw piece. I like this a lot. And one of my new favorite card draw pieces is Insight Engine. Just good, man. 2 in a blue, artifact, pay 2, tap it, put a charge counter on it, draw cards equal to the number of charge counters on it. This thing in Casual Commander, can't recommend it enough. Definitely pick one of these up. Also, you keen-eyed viewers will probably notice that a lot of our card draw is creatures, and that's so we can just throw 1/1 counters on them and start bashing face with our commander. So, a lot of creatures in there. So how do we put 1/1 counters on our stuff in a mono blue deck? Well, the Ooze is a great way to do it. For 2, we get a legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it leaves the battlefield, you get a mutagen counter for each 1/1 counter that was on it. Mutagen token. And if you don't know what mutagen tokens do, you can sack them to give 1/1 counters. So it essentially just replaces 1/1 counters when stuff dies. But you can also exile a card out of someone's graveyard to make a mutagen counter. So tons of 1/1 counters coming out of this thing from all directions. Wizard class is another absolute banger. For 1 blue, you have no maximum hand size at level 1. At level 2, you draw 2 cards. And at level 3, whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on something. I'm sure that's not going to be fantastic in a mono blue deck based around counters and evasion. Astrologian's Planispheres, 1 in a blue for a job select equipment. So when it enters, it automatically enters with a 1/1 that's equipped to it, which is perfect for this deck. Equipped creature is a wizard, and it gets a 1/1 counter whenever we draw our 3rd card or cast a non-creature spell. This is still a mono blue deck. Our removal, as you can see here with counterspell, is still mono blue. So we're going to have plenty of non-creature spells to cast and give 1/1 counters with Astrologian's Planisphere. So I actually really like this. Pip-Boy, same idea, an equipment that gives the creature a +1/+1 when it attacks, or you can draw a card and discard a card, or you can untap 2 target lands. So this is a very versatile way to give 1/1 counters. Tester of the Tangential. It has increment, so whenever you cast a spell with bigger mana value than this thing's power or toughness, it gets a 1/1 counter, and then at the beginning of combat, you get to move 1/1 counters from this thing onto something else. So pretty good for this deck, actually. Make something huge, make it unblockable. Sure. Jace, Arcane Strategist, is one that I'm not sure of in this deck just because of the mana cost. 4 and 2 blue, 4 loyalty. Whenever you draw your 2nd card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. That seems pretty good. +1, draw a card. And -7, creatures you control can't be blocked. It's kind of doing everything the deck's doing, so I feel like it deserves a spot. But let me know in the comments how you feel about this one. Conformer Shuriken, I'll tell you how I feel about this one. This thing rocks. An equipment that costs 2, equips for 2. When equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has greater power than this creature, put a number of 1/1 counters on this creature equal to the difference. Yeah, tap something massive, give your creature a shit ton of 1/1 counters, and that all happens as an attack trigger, so your commander will make it unblockable before anyone gets the chance to block. Super good. I just realized this deck's really good if you want every card to be a fucking book when you read it. Jeez. Prof's Eidetic Memory. 1 in a blue for a legendary enchantment. When it enters, draw a card. You have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've drawn more than 1 card this turn, put X 1/1 counters on target creature. Ooh, where X is the amount of cards you draw on this turn -1. So we draw 5 cards. Go ahead and put 4 1/1 counters on something. That's going to give it unblockable with our commander. This just seems perfect. But not as perfect as Lila. 3 in a blue for a 2/2. Whenever we draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on something. Don't have to explain why that's absolutely busted. It's like a $10 card. It is the most expensive card in this list. For good reason. Very, very good. Blitzball Stadium is another great way to give 1/1 counters in mono blue, being X in a blue for an artifact. When it enters, you support X, which means you put a 1/1 counter on up to X target creatures. And it also has Go for the Goal, which is kind of meh. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card for each kind of counter on it, and it can't be blocked. So some pretty okay card draw. Really good at making your whole board evasive with the support X. So definitely in here. And then finally, a little bit of a weird one, Naga Fleshcrafter. 3 in a blue, it's just a clone effect, but you can also exile it from your graveyard for 2 in a blue, and put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control, and then all other creatures you control become a copy of that creature until end of turn. As you'll see in the deck, I feel like there's some really powerful stuff you can do with this, just being able to give something evasion from the graveyard. It's also just a clone. I feel like this just does a lot in the deck, so it's in here. Let's talk about some creatures that can put counters on themselves. We've got Chasm Skulker, being 2 in a blue, for a 1/1. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Chasm Skulker, and when Chasm Skulker dies, you make a shit ton of 1/1 blue squids with Island Walk equal to the number of 1/1 counters on it. So again, drawing cards and getting counters is going to be good in this deck. That's just some great evasion, ton of bodies on the board. Let the bodies hit the board type vibe. Pretty good. Up next, we got Tui? Twi? I don't know. Tui and Lu. I don't know. Tui and La, Moon and Ocean. 3 and a blue for a 3/3. Whenever it becomes tapped, we draw a card. Whenever it becomes untapped, we get a 1/1 counter. So attack with it, draw a card, untap on our next turn, get a 1/1 counter. That 1/1 counter makes our commander give it unblockable. Swing with it again, draw a card, rinse and repeat. Very, very good. Speaking of very, very good, Nadir Kraken. Whenever we draw a card, you may pay 1 to put a 1/1 counter on it and make a 1/1. Sure, this thing's going to get massive and just constantly have evasion every turn. Why not? Onerophage, just a basic 3 and a blue, 1/2 flying. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on it. It's just going to get huge over the course of the game. It already has some evasion. Our commander's going to give it unblockable. I like it. But a better version of it is Baxter Fly in the Ointment. 3 and a blue for a 2/2. When it attacks or enters, creatures you control with counters get flying until end of turn. And whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Baxter. We love that. And then finally, I think the best one in the deck, maybe one of the best cards in the deck, Big Mother Mauser. 4 for a 0/0. It enters with 2 1/1 counters on it. When this creature attacks, double the number of 1/1 counters on it. And when it dies, you create X 1/1 robots, where X is the number of 1/1 counters that was on it. Yeah, this thing's going to get massive. Again, it's an attack trigger, so those 1/1 counters are going to hit on attack, which means our commander is going to give this unblockable before an opponent gets any chance to even block it in the first place. Very good in this deck. One of the best cards. The deck also runs a 4-card package of Proliferate cards. So we run Flux Channeler. All of our non-creature stuff becomes Proliferate. Lulu, we can stun stuff that attacks us or pay 3 and a blue to Proliferate. So just a Proliferate mana sink. Karn's Bastion, just a land where you can pay 4, Proliferate. And Steady Progress, draw a card and Proliferate for 3. Instant speed, just kind of good to like buff your whole board if they have counters and then give them all evasion at instant speed. Plus draw a card. I like it in here. Up first, we've got Homunculus Horde. 3 and a blue, 2/2. Whenever we draw our second card, make a copy of Homunculus Horde. This is one of my pet cards. There's so much card draw in this deck that this thing's going to be popping off all the time. And more bodies to put 1/1 counters on. I think that's pretty good. Psychosis Crawler, again, we're drawing so many cards in this deck that dealing damage whenever we draw cards seems good, but more so than that, its power and toughness being equal to our hand size, this thing could potentially be massive, and then we can just start giving it evasion with our commander and bashing face with a massive Psychosis Crawler, so, I mean, that's pretty good to me. And then Nesting Grounds, just a land that moves around counters. That's going to be good in this deck, because moving a counter counts as placing a counter, so that will trigger our commander. Just going to be good. So we're going to end the deck off here talking about our removal, our board interaction, and our mana ramp. So we're going to go through this a little bit quicker than the rest of the deck. So Counterspell, just a good counterspell. Unable to Scream deals with commanders while keeping them in play still. Curse of Swine can deal with multiple problems on the board at the same time. Rhymeskin Recluse is just a bounce on a creature, so we can start throwing 1/1 counters on Rhymeskin. Suspend, just exile something with 2 suspend counters. Glenalendra is an interesting one. 2 and a blue, 3/4 flash flying, enters with a -1/-1 counter on it. Remove a counter from it to counter target non-creature spell. Its controller draws a card. So you don't have to remove -1/-1s. Our +1/+1s can also be removed with this thing, making this a very good non-creature counter spell engine. Reality Shift, good exile in blue. An Offer You Can't Refuse, good counter spell. Boomerang Basics, some good removal, or we can use it on ourselves to draw a card. Pongify, great removal. How about a Negate? Some good counter spells. Moving on to the board interaction. We've got Asinine Antics. We can put a cursed roll token on all of our opponent's stuff, turning them into 1/1s, and when our stuff has 1/1 counters on it, they're going to be bigger than 1/1s, so wave goodbye. Anything that doesn't have a counter on it goes back to their hand. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye, have a good one. And Wash Out. Return all permanents of a chosen color to their owner's hand. We're in mono blue. Anything but blue, that's going to be good. And then for mana ramp, we've got Mind Stone, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Everflowing Chalice, Wayfarer's Bauble, Nyx Lotus because we're in mono blue, Silvermere, Prismatic Lens, and a Sky Diamond. So now that we got all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and Goldfish this deck a couple times to show you how it's played. We're going to talk about some potential upgrades, hit up my LGS to see if there's anything that I missed there, and wrap this bad boy up. So let's go ahead and Goldfish this bad boy. So we're going to shuffle up on cam here, and we're going to draw a hand, and we're going to see if we can show you how this deck works. Or if I'm going to have that camera curse, where I can't seem to draw anything good on cam. We'll see. That's how it goes whenever I try to record gameplay. It's just like, oh, I'm going to give you the worst thing you've ever gotten in your life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See what we got. Island, Inside Engine, Island, 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 Onerophage, Chasm Skulker. That is a keep. Keep in mind, this is a bracket 2 deck, so we're not going for like insane speed here. It is an aggro deck, but we didn't get any mana ramp. That's okay though. This is keepable. So we're gonna start things off by drawing. Draw into an island. We're gonna play an island, and we will pass. Comes back around. We're gonna hit the ooze, which is actually a great hit. Pay 2 for the ooze. Then we will pass. Comes back around us. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play our land. I think we're gonna get a Chasm Skulker going. Chasm Skulker. We're going to pass, and then when it comes back around to us, Chasm Skulker is going to get a counter on it when we draw. We draw into a Silver Mirror. Untap. We're going to play a land, and then we'll play Insight Engine so we can get some card draw on the board, and we will swing at somebody with 2 for Chasm Skulker, and we will exile something out of someone's graveyard with the ooze to make a mutagen token. And then we will pass. Comes back around. Another counter on Chasm Skulker for drawing a card. Untap, upkeep, draw. We draw into Boomerang Basics. Play a land. We are going to get our commander in play, Rika. And we are also going to use Insight Engine. So Insight Engine is going to get a counter. And we are going to draw a card. And when we draw a card, Chasm Skulker is going to get another counter, making Chasm Skulker unblockable with Riku. So we will hit somebody for 4 with Chasm Skulker. And we will pass. And then, yeah, we're just kind of rinsing and repeating here. We're putting counters on stuff with the ooze. We're drawing cards with Insight Engine. We're getting the blue stuff still, like an offer you can't refuse. Play a land. We'll pay 4 for Onirophage. Onirophage is going to start getting counters on it whenever we draw a card. And we're going to pay 2 to activate Insight Engine. Insight Engine is going to go up to 2 counters, so it'll draw us 2 cards. And when we draw those 2 cards, we're going to put 2 counters on Chasm Skulker. And we're going to put 2 counters on Onirophage. And yeah, rinse and repeat this. This is kind of the line that is focused more on card draw. Like I said, the deck will just end up drawing a lot of cards, and we have stuff that interacts with that. So this is kind of the line we're going with this game. This is more of a control-y game with the card draw, +1/+1 counter, Riku, Bash face line. We're going to go ahead and Goldfish one more of these, though, and see if we can get something a little different. Do a little shuffling on cam here so we can see that we're drawing a natty hand. I don't want to set up any crazy hands to, like, you know, sell a deck that I'm not selling. You know what I mean? So we're going to go ahead and tap. Or cut, I mean. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a Wayfarer's Bauble, an island, a counterspell, a Piper Right, an island, a wizard class, and a homunculus horde. This is 100% a keep, and we'll see how this one rock and rolls. So turn 1, we're going to play a land and play Wayfarer's Bauble. Comes back around to us, we're going to untap. Draw. We draw into a Sky Diamond, which is actually kind of nice. Oh, this is such an interesting turn, though, because we don't have the 3rd land. So I think we do want to crack the Wayfarer's Bauble so that... No, actually... We might just want to... No, because we can set up for a Wizard class Piper Right even if we don't hit the land. So yeah, we're going to crack Wayfarer's Bauble. Go ahead and search for an island. Put it into play tapped. That was the quickest island I've ever found in my life. Shuffle up, and then we will pass back around. Untap. Upkeep, draw. We hit our island, which is fantastic. We're going to play Piper Right, and we're going to play a Sky Diamond. So after that, we're going to go ahead and pass back around. Okay, we hit a land. That's really good. Play our land. We're going to play a Wizard class. We're going to swing at somebody with Piper Right for 1 to make 1 clue token. We're going to pay 2 to crack that clue token to draw a card. We're going to draw into a Boomerang Basics. And then when we draw that card, or when we sacrifice that clue, we're going to put a 1/1 counter on Piper Right. And then we're going to use the rest of the 3 mana to play... Riku. And then we're going to use the rest of the 3 mana to play Riku. Passes back around to us. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play our land. We're going to pay 3. And we're going to upgrade Wizard class to level 2, which will draw us 2 cards. We're going to draw into Onirophage and a land. It's actually really nice. And then we're going to pay 4 for Homunculus Horde because we have something on board, Piper Right, that'll be able to start drawing us cards. We're going to hit someone for 2 with Piper, if someone's open, ideally. Make 2 clues, then we'll pass turn. And when it comes back around, we've got our little road to progress set up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw our card, Tawashi Guidebot, play our land, and then we're going to start doing some stuff here. We're going to pay 5 to upgrade Wizard class to level 3. Whenever we draw a card, we put a 1/1 counter on target creature. We're going to go ahead and pay 2 to sacrifice one of these clue tokens, which will be us drawing a card.
The sacking of the clue token is going to put another counter on Piper Wright, which she is now unblockable because of Riku, and the drawing a card from the clue token is going to put a 1/1 counter on something from Wizard class, which I'm going to put on Homunculus Horde, and then the drawing our second card for turn is going to make a token copy of Homunculus Horde. So we've got 2 Homunculus Hordes. I'll put that down here in the middle. But yeah, this is our road to victory on this hand. We're going to go ahead and just make a ton of Homunculus Hordes. We're dishing out tons of counters with Piper Wright and Wizard class, making stuff unblockable with Riku. And again, we have a little bit of the classic control mono blue stuff to back it up. We got more ways to give 1/1 counters and make some big creatures on board. And yeah, there's your bracket 2, mono blue, aggro, +1/+1 counter, combat deck. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, a few upgrade suggestions. Number 1, 20-toed Toad. 3 and a blue for a 3/3. Your maximum hand size is 20. He gets 1/1 counters. He wins you the game if he's got 20 counters or you got 20 cards in your hand. Come on. Tell me that's not perfect for this deck. Or how about Power Conduit? Just an artifact that will remove a 1/1 counter to then place a 1/1 counter. So just give our stuff unblockable for tapping it? Sure, it seems pretty good. And then finally, Sword of Hours. How about an equipment that gives 1/1 counters when it attacks, and then rolls you a dice, and then if you do good enough on that roll, double the amount of 1/1 counters on it. All of this happening on attack, so it'll all trigger Riku, and your opponents won't even have a chance to block. I also found these 2 cards in my LGS. Just wanted to talk about them. Not sure if they're going to make the cut. Just they felt interesting for the deck. Lighthouse Chronologist, when it becomes max level, that's a win con. Getting an extra turn at the end of all of your opponent's turns, that's insane. But also leveling up something is putting a counter on that thing. So technically, leveling up will be putting a counter on Lighthouse Chronologist, so it'll be unblockable with our commander. I don't know how good that is. I think that's a really good win con. I think the level up thing is cute. But let me know what you guys think about that one. Also, I found another looter that I think I'm going to add. Suspicious Stowaway, 1 in a blue, 1/1. It's just a looter. When it deals combat damage, draw a card, discard a card, can't be blocked. Flips into a werewolf that just draws you a card. So, yeah. I think this is probably going to make it in there. I don't know what I'm going to take out, but that's just a couple cards I found at the shop. And if you did enjoy it, go ahead and join the Patreon or YouTube members like all these fine people you can see on the side of the screen right here. I will review your decks for Friday Night Deck Reviews if you're a Patreon member or YouTube member. Hey, does that not sound cool to you guys? Come on. Super excited to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments how you liked it and if you plan on building this deck. Buckle up for a whole lot more decks on the channel, boys, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.